Rockingham County Government and Spectrum 1304 present You've Got Grit. You've Got Grit. Jennifer Joyce, Executive Director of the Barry L. Joyce Local Cancer Support Fund in Madison, North Carolina. You've got grit. True grit is staying in the game when others would have dropped the ball and left the park. You've got grit. Jennifer Joyce. Let's start off, Jennifer, by just asking you to talk a little bit about your background, growing up, your education, living in Rockingham County.
Sure. So I actually grew up in theoretically Stoneville. Grew up going to Eden schools and graduated from Moorhead. So I'm a Panther. Yeah. And then after that, I went to school at UNC Chapel Hill, where I graduated with a journalism and advertising degree. So that was a great 4 years, and I had an internship in New York where I worked at an ad agency there. And was actually in advertising for a few years after that, for about almost 5 years. And then after that, I actually got back into our family restaurant business for about 6 or 7 years. And then it was during that I really wanted to make what I do now more of a full-time thing with the Cancer Fund. So I guess the way that it all started was when my dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer in February of '01. He actually really wanted to do something to help those in our community that may not have access to the same resources and maybe wouldn't even think about getting a second opinion from a doctor and that sort of thing. And it was really important for him to help those folks. And so he had talked about doing something to help them financially. And I had experience in college putting on golf tournaments. So he kind of, was thinking kind of down that route. He said we could at least do a golf tournament to help some of these folks. And then that September, he had a fatal reaction to a CAT scan dye. So it was literally when that happened that our family set up the Cancer Fund, and memorials came in. We had our first golf tournament after that, the year after that. And then we had that golf tournament for a number of years every fall, and we would help strictly financially with things like heating and air bills, gas cards, and pharmaceutical bills. And then in 2012, and getting out of the restaurant business, we looked as a family and with our board as far as how we could really grow and help people on a different level. And so there came the center that we actually have in Madison. And so we had a building donated, and then we immediately started a campaign to raise the funds to renovate that. And then we actually opened in November of 2013. So that's been a full-time thing since then.
The Barry L. Joyce Cancer Support Fund. Let's look at this first video and check out what it's all about.
I thank God for connecting me with the Barry Joyce Cancer Center. I mean, they the sweetest center that I ever informed with. So, if I advise anyone who have heard of this center to please visit the center, because they don't do nothing but good stuff for the people. And I get blessed all the time with them. I just thank God for Barry Joyce's Cancer Center.
I really enjoy coming and sharing with people. You can come and share if you want to. You can come and laugh if you want to. You can come and have a good time. It's a place where you can go and other people have the same situation or the same problems that you have. But we don't sit around and talk about it. We don't talk about the C word. We talk about life in general. We talk about having a good time. We talk about how we can help each other. And that's what it's about. If you can come down here and just see the great things that go on here, look online, go to Facebook, and see what great things the Barry Joyce Cancer Center does for people. I tell you what, I was skeptical. It took me a while to get there, but I think it's one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. And yeah, I have cancer. Mine's terminal, but it don't matter. Nobody down here treats me like it's terminal. They treat me like I am right now, and I enjoy it.
A place where we can come to when we have no other place to go. It's a great place. I love it. People can come together and have hope where there is no hope.
Okay, now let's get back and talk again with Jennifer, and if you will tell us how the Cancer Support Fund operates and tell us a little bit about your goals and the bottom line and what you all do.
Sure. Actually, so one unique thing is we're actually the only nonprofit in the area that services all of Rockingham County and doesn't receive funding from the government or United Way. So our support from the community is crucial. Our fundraisers are very instrumental, and the community support is really how we do all that we do. We have our big campaign every spring that runs February through April, and that consists of different teams throughout the county, be it an individual, a company, a school, a civic organization, a church, and then each of those teams helps raise money and awareness during that time. And then of course our golf tournament is every September. We usually have a bluegrass concert in the spring, but of course we had to cancel that this past April. And then we have, a couple of different mailings in the year, and we've really been fortunate to we've been able to rely on, individuals and churches and those sorts of things as well throughout the year. So that's really how we've been able to really operate financially.
So we have another video we'd like to share. Let's look at that one.
The Barry L. Joyce Cancer Center is an amazing place. As a cancer survivor myself and a health coach, I can tell you that there is nothing like it in the surrounding areas. Not in Southern Virginia, not in the surrounding counties. The programs that are offered here, as well as activities and education, are just amazing. They far excel anything of any other cancer foundation or organization that I have worked with in the surrounding areas. Truly, this is a blessing for Rockingham County and this area.
The Barry Joyce Cancer Center has made a big difference in my life. It's good because you're with people who know what you're going through. You don't have to explain it. They teach us things that we need to know about life, and they just help us to deal with every day.
Many people think that cancer only affects you financially, but it also affects you emotionally. That's why it's so important that the Barry Joyce Cancer Center continues their day trips, their many support groups, and other activities. I support the Barry Joyce Cancer Center for this reason, and I hope you will join too.
The Barry Joyce Cancer Center means so much to me and others. We're able to come to be with people that have the same symptoms that we're going through. Although we don't have to talk about it, we can still be together. It's an uplifting place. Jennifer has so much stuff planned for us that we don't have to worry about our situations, and it means so much. All the classes, all the planning, all the outings. We have good fellowship, and Barry Joyce Cancer Center is like our family. It's a home away from home.
Jennifer, tell us, what is it like doing what you do for the Barry L. Joyce Cancer Support Fund?
I mean, it's amazing. So it's really, I know it sounds kind of cliche, but I know I really take it very seriously that I'm able to do kind of my purpose. I think that what I'm doing is pretty much what I was meant to be doing. And it just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of fell into place. And I've become super attached to the folks. But when you get to work with the people that I get to work with every day, and you know, not many people, I don't think many people really go to work and really look forward to going to work. And I really, you know, I look forward to it and I love it, and I really recognize that I'm lucky to be able to do that and have that opportunity to really make a difference. And obviously that's thanks to the community support that allows me to make the difference. But, you know, to be a part of something that makes a difference to someone every single day is pretty remarkable.
Now, the people who participate in your program, they live in all different parts of Rockingham County?
Yes, absolutely. And all the programs are free. So we have people come from Reedsville and Pelham, Ruffin, Eden, Stoneville, Madison, Mandan, like every part of the county. And it was really important to us in the beginning when we developed our calendar and all the programs and services that we have to make it available to everyone, because we knew if someone didn't have money to get to a radiation treatment, they weren't going to have money to come for a support group or a yoga class. So we have volunteers that pick people up all over the county and bring them for the programs. Obviously, you know, before COVID, when we were having, you know, 4 to 5 programs at our center every week, you know, that sort of thing.
How do people find out about the Barry L. Joyce Cancer Support Fund?
More people more recently are finding out word of mouth. Maybe they've heard of someone else that received help from us or that comes to the center. And then a lot of people were referred to us from the hospital. So the different cancer centers from Annie Penn and UNC, you know, obviously Greensboro and Winston and even Chapel Hill, they refer us patients, and that they'll actually refer people more of like that are in a financial need sometimes, and then some may not, but just benefit from the emotional support that we're able to provide.
How can local citizens help as far as volunteering, making some type of donations, or writing a check?
Sure. So it's really easy to go on our website, which is bljcancerfund.org, and anybody can make a donation that way. And then on our website, you know, they can find our address and mail a check. And then we have a ton of, you know, we're still needing volunteers because we're doing so many things during COVID right now, and we're having drivers help us with delivery and, you know, helping folks because they're still obviously having to go to treatment, whether there's a pandemic going on or not. So we're still, you know, always looking for volunteers for sure.
So what else are you doing during this time, during the pandemic, since you can't have your normal programs at the center?
Right. So in March, we completely revamped everything, our whole way of thinking and our whole way of how we could help our people, because you know, these people are either currently battling cancer, you know, some treatment's no longer an option, some are in remission, but most of our folks are currently battling cancer. And so they're one of the most vulnerable people groups during all of this. And so I literally was getting calls in March with some of our friends that were not able to get toilet paper and that sort of thing. And so we were delivering toilet paper around the county, and prior to COVID, we would do these meal boxes. They would have food in them. We would do it 4 times a year. So Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, and then we would do one during the summer. And so we quickly looked at that and we started putting those boxes together on a monthly basis. So that started, our Easter ones were of course the first ones this year. But what we did differently is we obviously include food enough for multiple meals, but we were including essentials like toilet paper, paper towels, sanitizers. We were having to order a lot of things like, baby wipes, but we couldn't find antibacterial ones. So we researched how to make them antibacterial. So we were doing that and making cleaners, disinfectant, and including masks and things like that. So all of these boxes would include these essentials as well as food. So we've been doing that every month since April. And that has, we're delivering, we actually did those today to 82 people all throughout the county. We have volunteers help deliver those. And then we do, it's obviously free as well, but we do a drive-up takeaway dinner at the end of every month. So we're cooking dinner. They get a warm, healthy meal for themselves and their families. And they just come to the center and go around and pick up their box and, take it home. And last month we did that. We served 152 people. So, we've served over 2,000 meals just in the past few months, which is pretty awesome. So we've been doing that. And then another great thing that we've been able to do is we've been providing Kindles and hotspots to our friends that don't have internet so that we can continue our support groups. And we have, weekly chats where people can just get on and see other people and talk to other people, which is so crucial. Because, COVID has made everyone so much more isolated, which, and when you're dealing with something as scary as cancer, it can lead to depression and a lot of loneliness. And so that's been so beneficial to a lot of our friends. So we're really doing a lot during COVID for our folks, which is pretty great to be able to do that.
Are there any special items or materials or products that you would like for people in the community to bring by and offer for the program?
So lots of times we are including, like sanitizers and things like that in a lot of the boxes. And if people want to do that, that's great. But honestly, the monetary donation is what's really more helpful because we're able to order in bulk and get better discounts that way. And we have some groups that work with us when we are ordering, and that way we can order, just the right amount for our boxes and have the equal amount of all the different items and that sort of thing.
Can you maybe share with us some very rewarding moments that you've experienced while following your calling in this
Wow.
role?
So how many hours do we have? Honestly, it's remarkable. There are people, especially even when we first opened, a lot of our folks do have a support system, but even the ones that do have a support system, they really don't feel comfortable sharing but so much with their family and their friends. And so I can remember a few people, even when we first opened, and they all, can get my cell phone number and they would call. And, when some of them maybe couldn't do chemo anymore and they were trying to figure out how to tell their family. And, another lady that, wanted me to go to the doctor with her to find out, that her cancer had spread and there were no other options. And then, walking her through what she could do to talk to her family. And I've just made so many close friends during this, and I do get really attached, and sometimes it's hard when, folks can't win the battle, but I just try to focus on what we've been able to do for all the months and years, prior, and it honestly, again, it can sound cliche, but it really gives folks, more of a sense of purpose, and, they have something to look forward to, whether it's a chat on Wednesdays or a support group, and they know that they can always count on us. And some people don't have a support system. So when we call them every week to check on them, just to say, hey, how are you doing? How was your, we know you had treatment this week, or we know you're going in for this or that. That really means the world to them.
Jennifer Joyce, Executive Director of the Mary L. Joyce Cancer Support Fund in Madison, North Carolina. You've got grit. And I bet many of you who are watching know a Rockingham County citizen you describe by saying, you've got grit. Please email us a paragraph describing a Rockingham County citizen you think Spectrum 1304 and Rockingham County government should interview for You've Got Grit, simply email your paragraph to mscott@co.rockingham.nc.us. Email your paragraph to mscott@co.rockingham.nc.us. Thanks for watching You've Got Grit.